What's up, y'all? It's your girl, I Love Yagas, and I'm here with Miss Kesi Felton, a junior at Howard University, also a part of Better to Speak and Black Girl Recap. So, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. So, introduce yourself to the people. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Kesi Felton. I'm a senior at Howard University studying journalism. I'm the founder of Better to Speak, which is a social advocacy organization that seeks to just, preach the idea of sharing your story and making your voice heard. And then also the co-host on Black Girl Recap, which is a podcast that centers Black girl stories talking about different Black content.
And so I first heard about you or met you at the Woke for Wealth Mixer, and I really wanted to hear more from you because I saw that you were doing a lot on your Instagram with all of the Black Girl Recap and everything. So how did it feel being recognized and a part of that platform?
It was dope. I think the event Woke for Wealth was a great opportunity to just get in front of people and talk about Better to Speak and meet other great young Black entrepreneurs in the Atlanta area. And so I think I just got to hear a lot of people's stories and just share in that communion of people who just want to do more with their lives and accomplish their dreams. So it was really dope.
That's good. So I feel like we didn't hear from you enough. Are you more like an introvert or an extrovert when it comes to speaking in front of people?
I'm definitely an introvert. That's something that I'm trying to get out of, but I'm very stay in the back of the room. Don't really like to make my voice heard, which is kind of like the whole point of Better to Speak.
Exactly.
So I feel like that's kind of what makes it such an important mission for me, that just putting yourself out there more and just making your dreams come true.
So how has this organization that you started made it you a better person, like personally?
I think it's been, like you were talking about, like being an introvert, a better way to just put myself out there and connect with people in a different way, because, being a journalism major, I'm very, centered on making content, just kind of writing articles and posting them or doing social media and not really being the face of a lot of stuff. Yeah. And so I think Better to Speak has really allowed me to just, be more involved with different communities.
And I did notice that you had a blog on Medium. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? What do you talk about? How often do you post?
So I originally started out my senior year of high school going into freshman year of college. I had a blog, my own website. Well, I still have a website, but just doesn't have a blog feature. But I would just do blog posts from things about my life or just, just different topics pertaining to Black women. And so I think I wanted to kind of transition that into my website being kind of an online resume type of thing. And then my blog, I transitioned to Medium because I feel like Medium is has more topics about things that I talk about, just life in general. And so I think that was a better platform to just kind of increase my share of voice, have different, platforms that I have my content on.
Okay. Also, you did have a section on there called XX for 20. So explain to us, because I fell in love when I saw that. So explain to us what that's about.
So I'm 21 now, but when I turned 20, I had this multimedia project that I did called 20, and it just was a 3-part thing where I talked about different lessons that I learned during my 20th year, or coming into my 20th year. And so it was this thing that I had the Instagram stories, and then I had these audio diaries that I posted along with each of them. Again, just talking about different things that I've learned, lessons that I've learned, and what my goals were. So that was a cool way to push myself creatively in terms of having different types of social media content, audio content, stuff like that.
Okay. Going back to Better to Speak, you do a lot in the community. You're always at marches, speaking with congresswomen, doing something positive for the community. So what pushes you every day to go out and be such a positive face? Because, a lot of people our age aren't really out there, making connections, making their community a better place. So what makes you want to do that every day?
So when I first started out, my first couple of internships, I just felt the content that I was writing wasn't impactful, pertinent to the brands that I was writing for, but just not really really impacting people and making change. And so I've always really been interested in social justice and advocacy. And I think, especially being at Howard, where that's a huge thing, and in DC, where there's always a march going on, always some issue happening in the city. And so I think just being a part of that and seeing being in rooms where people are actually making decisions that impact people's lives and improve people's lives or not. And I think kind of being a part of that process is something that I'm really passionate about, and putting more Black faces, more Black women in those spaces is really important to me. So.
Okay. And what was your most influential community outreach that you did?
The first thing that comes to mind is this seminar that I did on Black men's mental health. It was about, the title of the event was masculinity and mental health in the Black community. And I think that was just where I was kind of going through this period of time where I just thought thought about different issues that were of interest to me and that were important to me, and that was definitely one. Just trying to learn more about Black men's mental health. And so we were able to bring in Kevin Dedner, who's the founder of Henry Health, which is like a mental health app, and it aims to connect Black men with different resources. And then Carlton Mays, who works with Smile DMV, which is like a LGBT youth organization. And so having those different perspectives for like straight and gay Black men, and like having that discussion about why mental health is so important, and the ideas of masculinity and like who comes up with all this stuff, it was a really, really interesting discussion. And then we also partnered with Healing Bison Initiative for Change, which is an advocacy organization on campus that talks about mental health. And so I think having all those elements and bringing in like different people from the community was really dope.
So on social media, jumping back into it, you don't have a huge platform like other influencers and stuff like that. So how are you working towards building your platform and getting your name out there more on and off social media?
That's definitely something that I'm trying to work on more, just as far as numbers, and just seeing people who kind of, it's like the algorithm and hashtags and all that stuff plays a part into it, and like posting content consistently. And like I was saying earlier, like I don't necessarily like being the face and like putting my life out there like that. And so I think, or just in a way of like an influencer, like the typical influencer that you see on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And so I think that's something that I'm trying to, just put myself out more and like do different things to help push my brand.
And so what vision do you have for yourself in these next 5 years coming?
Definitely finishing undergrad and getting a master's maybe in some like community development program or like digital journalism. Definitely growing Better to Speak and just continuing to grow that platform and build that community. Just continuing the work that I'm already doing now.
Would you want to go to Howard for grad school?
Probably not. My goal is to go to New York after graduation, or at least some point, or come back here to Atlanta.
Okay. So which has better stomping grounds for you as far as your brand goes and expanding it? You think Atlanta or DC?
That's something that I've been thinking about. I think DC, like, I have that kind of, like that soft ground of Howard and kind of like ushering me into like being able to partner with organizations on campus and like do stuff on campus, versus Atlanta like having to figure out everything myself and kind of being out here like this young student who's trying to throw these events and do these initiatives, like not taking it as seriously, people not being as open to that, versus like on campus they're my peers who are like so open to doing anything usually. And so I think just finding organizations who are very driven in the same mission of like trying to do stuff for Black people, or like local organizations who are kind of doing the same thing that we are, has been better, because I just did my first initiative in Atlanta, which was a menstrual product drive, and we partnered with Happy Period ATL, which like the larger organization is in California, but then we partnered with the ATL chapter. But the organization overall is founded by Black women, and so the chapter is kind of led by Black women, and so I think that was easier to like kind of usher that in and be able to make that happen.
And so you did mention that you just did one of your events in Atlanta with the Period Project. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I saw that on your page as well.
That was another thing that I wanted to do, was just I've been wanting to do something with homelessness in Atlanta, because we all know it's like a huge issue here, and just I wanted to approach it from some type of angle of like, how can we help homeless women and people who are homeless in the city? And so the idea of a Period Project, a menstrual product drive, was something that came to mind. And so I definitely wanted to do something where we collected products, but then also had like an educational piece where we talked about different facts and statistics. We had like a toolkit, and there were different like infographics and stuff. Like for example, there was one that said like you can't use food stamps to buy menstrual products, which I didn't know. Like that was something that certain people didn't know either that follow me. And so I think it was just a way to kind of like advocate for the issue and inform people about the issue, but then also like collect donations and actually help people who are suffering from it.
That's amazing. So what can we look from you in the near future?
I'm definitely trying to like start my 2020 planning now, as far as like what ideas, or like I want to do like an end of the year kind of celebration, just kind of either here in DC, just kind of like celebrate all the work that we've done this year. And then going to 2020, I'm definitely looking to like expand the team, just kind of like grow and solidify the business plan and everything, and just get that going, so that's like a consistent, growth.
Well, I love to hear that. Thank you so much for interviewing with us. But before we're done, at the end of my interviews, I always like to do a wrap-up, just kind of like a fun little game. So I have 5 words or phrases for you. I'm going to say them, and you say the first word or phrase that comes to your head.
Okay.
All right. First word is Black girl magic.
Power.
Amen. Better to speak.
Community.
Donald Trump.
Wow. Trash.
Heard you. Generation X.
Coming up.
Entrepreneur.
Magic.
Last thing is Twitter trends.
Fast.
Thank you so much for being here with us. It's your girl, I Love Y'all. It's here with Iconic Youth, and make sure y'all tune in with us every week to catch more interviews.